It's a pastime which simply requires going for a walk. However, for this group of enthusiasts, bird watching is much more than that.
I guess every year it's like once you get to know the birds, it's like returning friends. And you're waiting to see which one's arriving and when they're coming back.
And for Larry Halverson, who's been watching birds for 30 years, the best part about birding, as it's officially known, is that it doesn't take much to get started.
You don't need a lot of skills, just basically being quite observant. You don't need a lot of equipment, just your eyes and your ears, because oftentimes you're listening for birds rather than looking for them. And then it's a good idea to have a notebook so that you can jot down the details of what you're seeing or hearing. And then a field guide's quite useful as well.
But that's not to say that there aren't those who take it very seriously.
The real serious birder are ones that we call tickers. And they go to an area and they want to see every bird that's possible in that, and they tick it off their list. And so they actually make lists. They'll have a life list of all the birds they've seen during their lifespan.
Retired school teacher Doug Ukes, not quite a ticker yet, says his recent move to the Columbia Valley has definitely spiked his interest in birding.
I'm not quite at that stage yet where I'm keeping lists of all the birds I've seen in my life or things like that, but I am constantly observing birds now that I used to not even notice.
And after a recent festival brought birders from all over the country to Invermere, Doug was able to see firsthand just how big of a deal it can be.
At one of the sessions there were actually birders who were arguing. It's actually very special and very important to them that they have exactly the correct identification.
Much like the name says, they're common mergansers, which are more common here.
As for his experiences, Halverson says the ultimate highlight was an expedition to the cloud forests of Guatemala in 1976 in search of the rare resplendent quetzal.
We had traveled all day looking through these cloud forests for this particular bird, and got back to where we started from, and one actually flew across above us.
And as his interest in birding grows, Doug Ukes may soon find himself on an expedition of his own.
Friends of mine have gone on trips to Costa Rica and gone into the rainforest on specifically bird trips, and seeing their pictures when they come back kind of has sparked my interest.
For anyone wanting to get out and find some birds of their own, these experts have some advice which may help make for a successful trip.
Pick a habitat that's got an edge effect to it, where there's maybe a water edge or a forest edge next to a meadow, and that way you're going to maximize the variety of birds that you see.
And this area is as good a place as any to start, with over half of Canada's bird species residing in the Columbia Valley. So if you fancy, grab some binoculars and start birding. James Farnan, Shore TV, Invermere.